welcome to another episode of Q&A with Lance. And on this episode, really excited, I have Katie, and Katie is going to explain to us what she does, she's going to explain her business, and then we're going to jump into responding to some questions that she had, and really excited about the show. So Katie, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Lance. I appreciate it. My cat's also here too. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good.
But I'm currently, I got my certification for fitness coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist. So I am building my own business for personal training and for nutritionist stuff, as well as like the planning and nutrition guide. So I have currently a few clients under my belt, which is great. And we train at this gym in Columbia. And I also have set up like online training to do as well. So it's through this app called Trainerize. And it's really great for online clients. I'm just trying to build that up as well. So, yeah.
That's excellent. And then now, is this like a side business or is this like a full-time business? Well, what is
my
it?
Full-time business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you start this business?
Very recently. So when I used to be a general manager at a gym, and that was when I had my clients, or starting the clientele and stuff on for coaching classes and also one-on-one. So when I switched over to doing this full time, I was able to keep my few clients that I have. So just trying to build on that full time. So.
Oh, that's excellent. 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 Okay. Very good. And then that's a great way to do it, right? You kind of start by having it as a side business to your regular job. And then once you see that you can make that jump, right? Then you make the jump. So that's awesome. Now, when you made the jump, was it out of like a necessity, or was it where you just felt like, okay, this is a good time, I've built up the side business, enough to make the jump?
More, I guess a little bit of both. And more so just wanting to do one-on-one personal training and like little classes, as opposed to, managing the gym and doing like coaching classes for more than like 10 to 15 people kind of thing. So it's a different environment altogether. So.
I see. Awesome. Awesome. Now, my business coaching, one of the things I like to always start with, and one of the things I find to be very exciting, is learning about the person's passion behind the business, right? So can you explain to us what is that passion? Where did it come from? Like that passion that you have to do what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. So it's all about helping people like on their fitness journey, right? So I really want to have people, be confident in themselves and bettering themselves and just wake up happy with themselves. Like I've been there. I had my own weight journey. I was, overweight child. So endured like the bullying and everything that goes through that. And, kind of looking at like, what can I change about myself to help me, feel better about myself with this fitness journey? And it's all about nutrition, right? And then it's all about, hitting the gym. So I definitely I had that passion to, help people help themselves really. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. It's amazing how, I realize that in life, a lot of times it's like our adversity becomes our advantage to reach out and effectively help people, because we're helping people based on our own personal experience, and everything. So that's awesome to hear that you went through the transformation, right? Of having like, health issues, weight issues and everything. And now you're at the point where you've gone through your own personal journey. Now, that personal experience has equipped you to be able to help others. And I guess not only from the technical side, but also it's like, do you find that you have a very deep sense of like empathy, right, for them, because where they are, you kind of understand, the struggle, right? Wow.
Really.
Yeah, that is excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, this is very awesome, awesome. So it's always awesome to be able to, interact with passionate entrepreneurs, people that are doing it, and it's more than just money, but it's the mission, it's the
Yeah.
calling, it's the
Yeah,
purpose,
exactly.
Yes, excellent, excellent. So I received your advanced questions. I always like to, have business owners send me questions in advance. And so one of the questions you asked was about tax write-offs. And so I prepared this little presentation.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and what I'll do is, very special thanks though to this YouTube channel called Life Accounting YouTube channel, because I got a lot of, when I was doing my research, I got a lot of material from that YouTube channel. So I'll jump in, but remember, stop me at any time if you have any questions, all right? So, because I really want this to be, a discussion and not just a lecture, right? So we're talking about tax write-offs for business owners. Now, Section 162 of the Internal Revenue Code says that you can deduct all ordinary and necessary expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year to carry on any trade or business. Now, let's define two key words in that statement. Let's define, what do they mean when they say ordinary? Ordinary. So the IRS defines an ordinary expense as anything that is common and accepted to a specific trade or business. And what do they mean when they say necessary? Well, the IRS defines a necessary expense as anything that is helpful and appropriate for the nature of a specific trade or business. So basically, as business owners, there's a lot that we can write off. And what's unfortunate is that a lot of business owners overlook a lot of things that they could have written off, and so every year there are a lot of business owners that end up paying more in taxes than they need to pay, all because they did not realize all of the deductions, all of the write-offs that they could have taken. And so that was a great question, Katie, that you sent in, because this is such an important topic, So what I did here is I highlighted 14 categories of write-offs, right? Now there's more, but these are like very, very popular write-offs. Now, of course, not all of these relate to all businesses, but most of them I say would. And so let's jump right in. So number one is this, the 20% pass-through tax deduction, all right? So if you operate as a sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, or S Corp, then you are a pass-through entity. And therefore, you may be eligible for an automatic 20% deduction from your business taxable income. So I bring this up, and there's different rules and regulations, but it's something that you want to definitely look for when you're doing your taxes. Now, when you do your taxes, do you use like a software like TurboTax, or do you hire? What do you do?
Just TurboTax, yeah.
TurboTax. Okay, awesome. So I would say this, I would encourage you to make a note to really, when you're doing TurboTax, right, for 2021, make a note to look to make sure that TurboTax can at least considered this 20% pass-through tax deduction, right? I'm pretty sure, it will, but just in case, right? So this one is a very easy one, Now, next one, number two, the business use of a vehicle, all right? If you use your car in the operation of your business, you can deduct the portion of your vehicle cost that relates to your business, right? And you have to choose the calculation method, right? There's the actual expenses method, and then there's the standard mileage method. Now, the standard mileage method is like the most common among, my network of business owners, right? and it's the easiest, right? Easy, So, but basically, you have to keep track though. Now, and of course, like if you have, one car, right, and you're using it for both, personal and business, you have to have a system for tracking your business miles, and so, there's different things. I mean, some people get fancy and they're using like an app, others like me just use like a calendar, like you could write down, like keep a calendar, organized calendar of all of your business meetings, appointments, sessions, all that, right? Anything that's business related, you can kind of try to keep some type of track of it so that, if you do one day get audited, you would have that proof to say, okay, this is how I calculated my business miles. So focusing on the standard mileage method, once you get your business miles, then you just multiply the IRS, standard rate per mile by the number of business miles. Now for 2021, that number is 56 cents per mile. 56 cents per mile. And it's amazing how it adds up. It really adds up. And so this, I mean, you save a lot of money right here with this tax deduction,
Sure.
So 56 cents per mile. So that's business use of a vehicle. Number 3, business travel. You can deduct 100% of the business travel costs regarding business trips. So if you travel, to and when I say travel, I don't mean like, just traveling to like regular travel to visit clients, right? That's like a normal operation. I mean, when you actually go on a business trip where you're flying somewhere or you're driving a long distance and you're staying like in a hotel, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a real business trip, not just traveling for business. I mean, an actual business trip. So like maybe there's a business conference that you might want to go to that's related to your industry, right? And you go to that business conference, it's related to your trade, right? It's related to your business. And so it's 100% deductible, right? So we're talking about the airfare, we're talking about, we're talking about the hotel, we're talking about everything. That whole business trip is 100% deductible, right? Now, let me ask you this: as a personal trainer, now you mentioned several things. So you're a personal trainer, but also you are a nutrition coach, right? And then you mentioned about fitness, like you mentioned like a fitness
coach. Yeah, fitness coach.
Okay, all right. So now, in those roles, are you a part of any particular like national associations?
ISSA is the association that I went through. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. International Science and Sports Association. So
I got you. Okay, cool. So this is a good one to keep in mind in case, something comes up with like a business conference or some type of training that's far away, to know that, wow, you know what, if I go, I'm going to be able to deduct 100% of the business travel because it's related to the business.
Nice.
So that's business travel. Number 4, business meals. So now this is an interesting one because previously, right before 2021, business meals were only 50% deductible. But for 2021 and for 2022, they are 100% deductible. Nice. And a little side note, right? A little fun fact about this. The reason why, the law changed, this is to support the hospitality industry, right? That was hit hard with the pandemic. And so now they have given business owners more motivation to have these business meals, Now, when we say business meals, right, we mean, meals when you're conducting business with people, right? So you can't just go out to eat by yourself and right? It has to be a client, it has to be or an associate, a partner, a colleague where you're talking business. It has to be business related. But the great thing about this for 2021 and 2022 is that it's 100% deductible. So that's that. With the nutrition thing, I can imagine that can come in really handy, as a So number 5, business interest expense. So if your business has any debt, then you can write off the interest expense associated with it. So that's business interest expense. Number 6, the home office deduction. The home office deduction. If your home is involved in the operation of your business, you can deduct the portion of your home expenses that relate to the portion of your home that you use for your business. So for example, so now do you rent or do you own your own home?
I rent an
You rent.
apartment.
Okay. All right. You rent. Okay. So now a question I would have, I mean, a question to look into is that even when you're renting, if you were to have a separate room that you classified as your office and
Yeah.
you conducted, your business in that separate office, you did your paperwork, you did your accounting, you know what I'm saying? You did your business calls, in that separate space. My question, something to look into would be, can you deduct a part of your rent?
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like it would be logical, right? But that's something, to look into to see if there's something that you can get from there.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the home office deduction. Number 7, cell phone expenses. If
Nice.
you use your cell phone in the operation of your business, you can deduct the portion of your cell phone expenses that relate to your business. So, I mean, typically what we'd do is just do a percentage, unless there's like a way in which you can just justify that, okay, you know what? I use my cell phone for my business 100%. Unless there's a way to justify it, and I would say you want to do some type of percentage that's a business.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, right. And then these days, I mean, a lot. I can imagine a lot of your business is on your phone when you're interacting, right, and everything. The email
App.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's so that's cell phone expenses. And then, by the way, this includes not only the monthly service of your cell phone, but also when you buy a cell phone too, right? So all of your cell phone expenses, right? You can take a percentage of that and say, okay, well, this was business use.
Mm.
Number 8 is office, administrative, and technology expenses, right? So we're kind of lumping several things together. And in TurboTax, there will be like some separate accounts, but just for the sake of time, kind of lump all these together. So this is like just basically, supplies basically, and
Okay.
software and tools, so we're talking about, pen and paper and notebooks and computer software programs and merchant accounts and subscription services, like you have a Dropbox account that you use for, business, right? Um, stuff like that, stuff that's, as long as it's related to your business, right? Then it's, it's a write-off, right? So as long as, and then remember the rule is, it must be ordinary and necessary expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year to carry on any trade or business.
Gotcha.
So that's 8. Number 9 is startup and organization costs. So the IRS allows you to deduct up to $5,000 of business startup costs and another $5,000 of business organizational costs. So that's like for new business owners, that just starting. So that's 9. Number 10. So number 10 is something where you'll be considering this, down the line as your business really starts to grow and you start to have like a lot of net income. I'm talking about like when you get up to like, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 in net income, then you want to start to look at this where, so if your business has high net income, you might be able to avoid a lot of self-employment tax by electing S Corp election, by electing S Corp status, because self-employment tax does not apply to distribution to shareholders. So this is a more advanced type of tax term, but basically Okay. Did you register your business as a sole proprietor or as a LLC?
LLC.
Oh, LLC. Okay. Now you registered as an LLC, but you registered as now as an LLC, you could be taxed as a sole proprietor, or you could be taxed as a S corp. And I assume that yeah, you are an LLC that's taxed as a sole proprietor, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So basically your tax, so even though you're an LLC, and that's great because you have that liability protection and all that, right? But in terms of taxes, right, you're taxed as a sole proprietor, which is great. It's a pass through. So you're taxed as a sole proprietor. Now, here's the thing. Self-employment tax is like 15.3%, right? And it's applied to sole proprietors and now, and here's the thing is it's a lot, right? 15.3%. Once you get up to once you build your business up to, as I was saying, like 70, 80, 90, 100,000, you want to look at becoming a LLC with S corp election, because becoming an LLC with S corp election, it allows you to classify a portion of your net income as a reasonable salary to yourself, and then the other portion will be as a distribution to shareholder. And this the self-employment tax, will only apply to the reasonable salary that you pay yourself. The contribution to the shareholder avoids all self-employment tax, right? So it's a way in which business owners are able to save a lot of money by avoiding self-employment tax by becoming an S corp election. But here's the thing though, is that to become an S corp election, that means more paperwork. It's more expenses involved, right? There's more rules and regulations. Also, you have to, get a payroll system unless you plan to do it yourself. But, if you're not an expert at it, you need to get a payroll system. So you really have to weigh the extra hassle and the extra expenses involved with becoming an S corp with the tax savings involved with becoming an S corp, right? But it's something that you don't even want to think about until you're reaching a high level of net income, right? So that's why most people in our network of business owners are just like yourself, LLCs that are taxed as sole proprietors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good to keep in mind.
Right. All right, number 11. Number 11 is self-employed retirement accounts. All right, so this is another one where you want to be thinking about this after you kind of really build your business, right? So for example, you may contribute up to $58,000 per year to a solo 401k or a SEP IRA, and take this entire amount as a tax deduction. You can take the entire amount as a tax deduction. So that's something to think about, down the line. But being a small-time business owner, right? A lot of people are in our network are just small-time business owners. It doesn't really, it's not something to look into until later.
Sure.
So, yeah. So number 12, health savings contributions. All right. So the money you contribute to a HSA, right, a health savings account, is deductible from your taxable income. And as long as you use the money for qualifying health expenses, the money is tax-free when you take the money out of your accounts.
Gotcha.
So it's a really cool thing. Yeah. So that's health savings contributions. Number 13, labor costs. Ooh, this is a big one. This is a really, really big one. Whenever you pay someone to deliver a service that is specific to your business, you can deduct the payments. You have to classify each person, though, as either an employee or an independent contractor, right? And being small time, we probably just have people as independent contractors because, if you have an employee, there's a lot of paperwork that's involved and all that, right? But independent contractors are, now, of course, it has to fit the rules, though, right? You can't treat somebody as an employee, but then classify them as an independent contractor, right? That would be against the law. But
Yeah.
yeah, right. So you must okay, so you have to classify each person as either an employee or an independent contractor. You must have a W-4 form for each employee, right? So that you can issue them a W-2 at the end of the year, right? That's for employees. And then you must have a W-9 form for each independent contractor so that you can issue them a 1099 at the end of the year. So the 1099 thing relates more to our level of business where, like if you have let's say a website designer, or a graphic designer, somebody that's going to be doing, work for your business, then you want to get their W-9 form, right? Because at the end of the year, at the end of the tax year, you have to report to the government the amount of money that you paid to them, right? In order for you to take the deduction off of your taxes, right? So, and you have to send them a 1099. So I'm sure in your, over your career, you've received 1099s before, right? When you worked as an independent, yeah. I mean, even now, right? I mean, your business, you're independent contractor. So, yeah. All right, so that's labor costs. And then now number 14 really applies to like the merchants. It really applies to people that sell products, right? So, if you sell products, you can deduct the cost of the products that you sell, right? It's called cost of goods sold. Mm-hmm. So those are 14 of of very popular categories. But like I said, there's more, and really, it's, all ordinary and necessary expenses, right? That relate to your business is really a write-off. But if you're not sure on something, like we talked about that rental, like the rent payments, right? If you can, something like that, something to look into, because there might be a way to deduct some of that as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah. So with all this, right? Any questions on any of this?
I don't think so. I think when I had the questions, you were answering them as you were explaining it. So I think I'm okay. Yeah.
Good. Now, with a lot of these categories, right? It requires that you keep good records, right? Keep good records, like let's say like the labor cost stuff, right? You gotta keep good records on how much you're paying, because a lot of times, when you're paying somebody to do work for your business, it's like multiple payments, spread out, right? And so you definitely want to have a system in place. And so with that, like, what are your thoughts about a bookkeeping system? Now, when you're first starting out, like a spreadsheet could even work,
I do
But as
love
you grow,
Excel. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Sorry, I was just gonna say I do love Excel and doing
Perfect.
spreadsheets that way. Just starting out, I think something like that instead of investing in like a bookkeeping system. But when I bigger, then yeah, absolutely invest in that.
Yes, excellent, excellent. And the great thing about like using a spreadsheet too is that it forces you to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some people, they go into the technology and they get all these fancy softwares too soon, and
Yeah.
you don't understand what's going on. So I think you're doing it the right way. Start off with just an Excel spreadsheet, and just keep it organized. I guess like for each tab, maybe you can separate it by month, because it'd be great if you can kind of do like a monthly income statement, where on a monthly basis you can calculate, your revenue minus your expenses to get your net income for each month, to kind of really see how your business is doing, and what you're really making.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the Excel spreadsheet, that's great. And then also you definitely want to like reconcile, like check your bank accounts, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when people pay you, right? I can imagine that people are paying you in different types of ways, right? I mean, I guess some people might do a check, but then I guess, I know very popular, especially among young people, would be like PayPal and Venmo and Cash App, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. It's a mixture of both.
Yeah, picture. Okay, good. So with your spreadsheet, right, where you're keeping track of the stuff, you want to definitely at least, I mean, if you can do it on a weekly basis, that'll be great. But at least on a monthly basis, where you're reconciling your accounts, all the different accounts that you have, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, the business checking account, all that. You're just kind of reconciling that because, I mean, for multiple reasons. I mean, it keeps you organized, makes sure that you're not making any type of mistake in your bookkeeping, but also too, I mean, stuff happens like fraud on accounts and stuff, right? So you want to be able to catch any type of fraudulent activity that might appear on any of your accounts as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Invoicing system, right? Now, do you have an invoicing system like through like you use PayPal? Do you ever send like a invoice through PayPal, or do you just email like an invoice? How do you handle that?
So right now, it's through the app that I mentioned before that I do that I can do online clients with. You can do obviously in-person clients and tell them to download the app, but there is a section in there that you can send like an invoice, so they kind of automate it, so it makes it easier on my end. So yeah, and then they just put in their payment information and go through the app. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
What's the name of the app?
It's called Trainerize. I highly recommend it for personal trainers starting out. Yeah, it guides you through everything. It has all the workouts like for you, like just how it's very user friendly. So it's very easy to use. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. In fact, I have several business owners in my network that are personal trainers, and so I'm going to mention that to them. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow. Wow. So this is excellent. So you got your bookkeeping system, you got your spreadsheet, set up. And so yeah, this is really good. So yeah, these are the common write-offs. So and then of course, right, whenever, if ever you're thinking about something that's related to your business, it's worth reaching out and asking about, right? Because you don't want to miss any deduction, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
ebook that you sent was super helpful. I wrote down like all the different deductions and stuff you can do. So yeah, the write-offs and stuff. So that was really helpful.
That's excellent. Yeah, shout out to Melissa, my friend Melissa, who is a CPA as well as an enrolled agent. And an enrolled agent is like the highest classification in the tax specialist industry, right? And so, yeah, I've been very blessed to have like a strong network of professionals,
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
Melissa,
That's really
yeah,
great.
yeah. So awesome. All right, so that's with the taxes. Now in terms of marketing, right?
Mhm.
So now, you kind of started, right? It was a side business, and then through your regular job, you were able to build relationships, right? And all reputation and all that, right? So that's awesome. So you kind of, when you made the jump over, you already had like a clientele, right? That you were building out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then what are your thoughts about continuing to market yourself?
Really good on social media. So Instagram I've heard is huge with the reels and the posts, on there. So I started a business side for Instagram. I want to start a business side for Facebook. And starting like my own website so people can reach out, but really just get my name out there and just kind of brand myself so people know, I have these services and I can help kind of thing. So
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, social media is very powerful, and yeah, word of mouth. That's excellent, excellent.
yeah.
I was even thinking like, if you were to be able to get on some podcasts as a guest, because
Yeah.
health, it's mental health, physical health. I mean, it's such a hot topic, right? And there's a lot of podcasts that are focusing on those niches, right? So I was just thinking like, if you were to reach out to some podcast hosts, get on their show, and it's amazing how you never know who's watching, you know?
Right, that's true. Yeah, exactly. That'd be really great. I'm
Yeah,
down for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. So with the personal training is kind of like one-on-one or group training?
A little bit of both. Yeah. So one-on-one right now is what I'm doing with my clients. But I've coached classes in the past, and I would love to do like little groups, like of 3 or 4. I can definitely do like either online or in person. So whatever works. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And online, of course, yeah, you're expanding your reach and everything. Wow. That's
Mhm.
excellent. Excellent. And then I can see how you can leverage, the personal training and the fitness coaching with with the nutrition coaching, right? And everything. So
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. Wow. Do you find that, you have clients that will sign up for both? Yeah.
I hope so. Nothing so far because it's so new. But I hope so. I've written plans out for my current clients.
Okay.
But not. I haven't had a client yet, sign up for both kind of
Gotcha. Gotcha.
thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Because I can imagine, I mean, when they come to you, a lot of times they just have a very focused need, right?
Right.
Saying
Right.
focusing
Yep.
on that one particular area of their life. I see. I see. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So marketing, it sounds like, you kind of, you seem like you're heading in the right direction in terms of the marketing. But yeah, I would say the podcast thing is something to look into. And
Yeah.
also too, is it's amazing how, powerful YouTube is. I know it may sound simple, but really, if you were to just keyword search, marketing for, personal training or nutrition coach or whatever, it's amazing how you can pick up a lot of good insights from YouTube as well.
Yeah. That's a good idea. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you got to weed through, the bad stuff to get to the good stuff, right? Because there's all different qualities on YouTube, right?
Right. Right. That's with anything in life, I think.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And then regarding the legal things, right? So, what I've seen, because, so I'm also, a fitness instructor, I was a Zumba instructor, and then I transitioned to becoming a dance fitness instructor where I'm focusing on like private parties. So my company does a lot with like kids' birthday parties and stuff. And it's more like, not, so it's like fitness classes that are not really focused on exercise, but they're just focused on fun, but of course they're getting the exercise,
Right, you can have both.
You got both, right? You got both, right? Right. But like when we're marketing to like little kids' birthday parties, we're kind of emphasizing the fun, but the parents love
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, the
Yeah.
parents love it because it's exercise as well, So
Yeah, it gets their
but
energy out for sure.
yeah. So with that, I know that liability has been, major issue, right, in that industry, right, in terms of training and personal training and fitness classes and stuff. And so are there some safeguards like I guess liability insurance or even like liability waivers too? So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, I have the liability insurance, and then in terms of the clients, of course, like cancellation fees and have like the PAR-Q forms and everything for the clients. But I wanted to see if you had any suggestions of anything else that I need to, cover myself with. So
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, I see. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, liability, because in fact, some of the institutions would even require, so some of the institutions require the instructor to have liability insurance, right? But of course, the gyms have their own liability insurance, so it covers, stuff like that. But I
right.
guess that's the huge thing, like, and make sure you deduct, right, liability insurance costs from your
Yeah.
taxes, right? Because that definitely is a tax deduction. But yeah, so I would say keep it up with that. But then now it's kind of people have different feelings about. You mentioned a Part Q. What's a Part Q?
Oh, like the pre-screening questions, if they have any health, like past like health uh things, or like like those kind of screening questions. So
I see. I
yeah.
see. Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, so in addition to liability insurance, though, I know some instructors will have an extra layer in terms of their paperwork that the client sign of regarding like a liability waiver. Do
Yes.
you have that in place or?
For COVID-19, that kind of waiver. But yeah, so I think that, yeah, that's it. For
Okay,
that.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. So
Mhm.
I think from what I've seen, I think that maybe that might be something to look into to see, is there an extra level of liability, that you could do in terms of having like a liability waiver that's not like too see, I feel like some people kind of get turned off by that because, it's like, whoa, like, and some people don't even like to really sign things like that, but I think if you just make it as part of the normal, registration, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's something because it's just normal. It's just like you're kind of basically saying, hey, look, I mean, I'm just protecting my business, and just, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Good
yeah.
advice.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right.
Cool.
So this has been good. As we wrap up, is there anything else that you can think of?
I think you answered all my questions. I'm just going through the list. Oh, if there's any do's and don'ts of advertising myself, like the marketing, if you had any experiences yourself with marketing yourself, like what didn't work for you or what did work for you?
Ah, okay. So here's the thing. What I find, and this is all like, you know, um, it's all subjective, right? Depending on people's personal experience, right? So I'm sure other people might say the exact opposite of what I'm about to say, okay? But from my experience, I feel as though transparency is powerful. Transparency is powerful. If
Yeah.
you can show people the behind the scenes, it's like they connect with you more from my experience. Now, some people will say the opposite. Some people will say, well, no, if you're too transparent, then people will get turned off by certain things, maybe, or and then you have other people that they have this like social media image that's really perfect. And so they don't want to post anything unless it's like perfected, But and I see I can see their logic behind that, but just for me personally, I just feel as though if you're just really like authentic and you just kind of on social media, if you're just like really showing the behind the scenes and if you're just showing the process and you're, and then like get permission to, like try to get permission from your clients to be able to kind of post their stories, because wow, testimonials are just so powerful, right? And so you can kind of document, I guess I call it like this, document the journey. If you can document your journey of your business, it's
Yeah.
like people, I believe people will trust you more, they'll relate to you more, and they will want to connect with you to be a part of the journey that you're taking other people on.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. Thanks, Lance. I really appreciate all your help.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Great connecting with you, Katie. And let's definitely keep in touch.
Okay.
Love to
Yeah.
to do another one of these conversations down the line, and we'll get like an update from you on things.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon. All right.
Do. Bye.
Bye.